Good afternoon and welcome to this week's episode of Rocky Mountain Gamers. I'm Mark Cameron.
And I'm Al Babins.
And we're here to talk about some new developments in gaming. If this is your first time on the channel, please hit that like and subscribe button. Keep coming back because we're just starting to have fun. How's your week going, Mr. Babz?
It's going well. Can't really complain. Been waiting so long for some of this news to drop. So it was a relief to finally get some of that. So
yeah,
that made my week right there.
The shoe did drop and that helped a lot.
Yes.
We are kind of in vacation mode here at Rocky Mountain Gamers, which is why we did not put out a video last week as originally planned. We are making our wives happy by vacating a little bit. But we will be back on our normal schedule starting next week, and we will talk about those displays as we promised. But we have some bigger fish to fry than generic display news this week. So let's start with our popular segment that Mr. Babins has. It's time for the hunt.
All right. And what a hunt it is right now. Lots of good stuff. And hilariously, my week's hunt started off with air conditioners, which isn't, your typical thing, but we received such a heat wave on the west side of Canada here. And I've heard in parts of the US that it suddenly became a mad rush to get any kind of relief you could. So I was hunting air conditioners, which is always an interesting start to my week.
That heat wave was brutal. The Pacific Northwest, they were having the Olympic trials up there, and they registered track temperatures, not the air temperature, but the actual temperature of the track of almost 150 degrees.
Ooh, yeah.
You can imagine running on a 150-degree track.
I cease moving in any kind of weather like that. I just fall over and that's it.
Yeah, I think the actual temperature hit 117 or 119 or something.
Wow. Yeah, we set all sorts of records here. And of course, now we've got, parts of BC are having fire issues, and it's pretty real deal. So
of course, you measure in Celsius, so to us it sounds cooler.
Yeah, it probably does. Like 100 degrees Celsius, you burn, be really, really hot.
You provided a public service by helping people find air conditioners.
Yes,
you are a good Samaritan.
A lot of people are asking for that, and I'm happy to help where I can. So and it's still hard to find an air conditioner even right now, which is pretty crazy. But it is summer, so I guess that's how it is.
I've only ever lived in Colorado and Chicago, and Colorado has kind of been needed some kind of cooler forever because we have wild temperature swings. In Chicago, without air conditioning, you just die.
Yeah.
So
I can imagine.
So other than air conditioning, what else have you been on the hunt for?
Yeah, so after the air conditioners, the news that AI Somnium Files Nirvana initiative was announced. And with that news came the news of a collector's edition for that. So that was a must-have for me. I actually passed on the original AI the Somnium Files collector's edition, and then I played it and regretted it, and I had to actually hunt one out back then. So this time I'm not messing around, and I want my collector's edition right away. So that was my hunt this week. Collector's editions have started to show up, but they've been dropping kind of weird. EB Games had them, but the Switch version never went up. And then Amazon got a bunch with the Xbox and the Switch, but no PS4 version at all. No listing, no nothing. So I guess they're having some issues kind of figuring out what's where, but they're coming slowly. And the stock seems decent. They're holding. Popular though, a lot of people excited for this game, myself included. So that's good. And then of course the big one now, which we'll talk about a little bit later, is we're hunting for that Switch OLED. And there are a couple placeholders going up across Canada and the US. I noticed Best Buy, both in Canada and the US, has placeholders. GameStop in the US. Just today, The Source added some listings. Haven't seen anything at Amazon yet. Nothing has gone live yet. So I'm curious what the demand versus supply is going to look like for this one. Just have to wait and see this week, I guess, this week and next week.
I think they're going to go fast.
I think so too. A lot of people are saying, well, it's not, the pro version or whatever, but as I always say with these things, you don't want to sleep on the pre-orders. The pre-orders are generally the easiest way to get them. And once the pre-orders are gone and the demand will be there for release day, and then it's going to be crazy through the holidays for sure. Every time is how it goes down. So I wouldn't sleep on the pre-orders when they go up, pre-order now, decide later.
Exactly. So yeah, we'll get into the Switch OLED, but from a pre-order I gotta believe that the chip shortage could affect the quantities. So yeah, don't sleep on that if you're interested in it.
For sure.
And don't let the scalpers get all of them.
No, don't let the scalpers get them, or the resellers. I prefer to use that term.
So let's go on to the regular news.
All right.
And let's just, before we get to the Switch OLED, let's just touch on a couple of things that popped up in the last week. One is my favorite game of last year is getting a director's cut, Ghost of Tsushima. And it's getting a director's cut on both PS4 and PS5, a PS5 upgrade, and a new DLC, a whole new island.
Yeah, that's exciting. And I still haven't even played it yet. So this is good news for me.
My game of the year is rarely an action game. And that's pretty much, it's an action adventure. Yeah, there's a little, RPG style progression that's showing up everywhere these days. But my game of the year is rarely an action oriented game. I'm an RPG or a platform guy. And it blew me away last year. It just blew me away.
I mean, you're an adventure game guy, though. So
That's true. This
is if it's leaning towards the adventure elements. People keep saying I need to play this, so I'm pretty excited about this.
You can, and it's got some nice difficulty settings, nice accessibility. One thing that's a little controversial, though, is what they're charging. I'm hearing some pushback. The upgrade from PS4 to PS5 without the DLC, and at least they're giving people options, but just to upgrade it from PS4 to PS5, in the US is $10.
Right.
The full DLC pack is $30. So they're basically charging $20 for this new island, and they're charging $10 just to get it on PS5. And people think that sounds a little steep. Now, I don't personally like to judge that till I get into it. I love the game. I'll pay the $30. If that new island is 2 hours of content, I'm going to complain about it. If that new island is 20 hours of content, I'm good. Totally. So it just depends.
I feel like they're marketing it as a premium DLC.
I think so too.
It doesn't feel like just a 2-hour DLC. It feels like it's a significant new chunk of content. And they're kind of padding it as well with a whole bunch of cool digital content.
Yeah, that's
digital
for sure.
art book, digital soundtrack, I think was in there. Some DLC, right? And then of course the new stuff. But again, on PS5, if you're buying it physically like me for the first time, you're paying plus taxes, like $100 Canadian. And I'm still getting used to these full priced PlayStation 5 games, but I've also got that history where we used to pay $100 for Super NES games. And so it doesn't hit me as hard, but I don't know. I'm feeling like this will probably be worth it, but it's still an interesting play on Sony's part to do this one full price.
I think there's a new collector's edition too.
Now, it looks like a collector's edition in the way that they've marketed it, but it's not. It's a whole
Really?
bunch of, yeah, it's a whole bunch of digital, cool digital stuff
Oh,
that
they're
will
messing
be
with my head
available.
then.
Yeah, totally. It honestly feels like they're trying to like, I don't want to say pull, the wool over your eyes or anything, but it feels like they're marketing it as a physical collector's edition, and it's not.
Gotcha. Well,
Yeah.
thank you for clarifying that. I should have looked into that a
Hmm.
little more. Um, Still, for anybody who hasn't played it, I absolutely recommend Ghost of Tsushima. And that director's cut will be out in August.
Awesome.
Next, we have a state of play coming tomorrow for Sony. And I know a
Hmm.
lot of people were expecting state of play in July, kind of touching on the end of the year stuff. And I'm hearing disappointment. The disappointment is going to be a reoccurring theme this week. I'm hearing disappointment because they've talked about what is and isn't going to be there, which is good. They've set expectations,
Yes.
but they're doing 9 minutes on Deathloop in a 30-minute state of play.
Yeah, I've seen enough Death Loop already. I'm good. I don't need
Yeah,
those 9 minutes.
and I'm looking forward to Deathloop. I actually know some people who worked on that game,
Hmm.
and so I want to try it. I know these guys, and they're a lot of fun, particularly on the writing side. Even though it doesn't look like it's a writing intensive game, a story intensive game, um, still knowing who the writers are, I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah.
But there's not that much new to see. It's yeah, there's more action, but it's the gameplay is kind of established.
Yeah, I'm ready to just play it. I'm at the point where I don't need to see anymore. I just want to play it. Um, I definitely don't need 9 minutes of it, I suppose.
Yeah, that seems like a lot. And then from there, they're going on to indies and some third party games. No other first party stuff, from what I understand, which means no God of War. They specifically said no God of War. They
Yeah.
specifically said no Horizon um, Forbidden West. I
Yeah.
almost said Zero West. Provide for Horizon Forbidden West, and which is, that's a little weird because we're getting close to the time they need to be announcing a date for that if it's going to hit this
Hmm.
year.
Hmm.
Um, and so that makes me a little bit nervous. Uh, but even I haven't seen that much of Kenya and the Bridge of Spirits, which comes out in August. And I'd like to see an update on that. And even that's not going to be there, from what I understand. That's a first party game.
Right.
So not quite sure what they're going to show. And if Horizon Forbidden West misses this year, I mean, is Deathloop the big exclusive we get? Deathloop in Kenya. Kenya looks good, but um, that's a little disappointing for the first full year of the system. Ratchet and
Yeah.
Clank, Ratchet and Clank's great. It's a great exclusive, but there seems like there needs to be a holiday exclusive. Hopefully, it will be Horizon, but if that misses, that's going to be a big gap.
I mean, they could be pulling a bit of a Nintendo here too, and sort of getting a bunch of stuff out of the way first to clear room for God of War and Horizon.
Well, God of
But
War they already announced is next year.
right, that is next year for sure. Um, so I'm not sure what to expect here. Again, when you're highlighting Deathloop as kind of the big show stuff, it doesn't leave me with a whole lot of confidence that the rest of the show is going to be super exciting. But who knows? Maybe they completely underestimated whatever they're going to show. So
Yeah, it's absolutely possible. So
I'll have to
that
just
is
wait.
Thursday the 8th. It's tomorrow, Thursday the 8th at 5 p.m. Eastern
Yes.
is when they're going to be doing that state of play. So tune in and we'll see if it's exciting or not.
Yeah.
Um,
Who knows? Maybe they'll surprise us.
yeah, maybe there'll be a big surprise. We have no idea. So, amidst all of this other news, we woke up yesterday morning to a new version of the Nintendo Switch, the Switch OLED.
Yes.
So, the rumors of a new version finally proven true.
Mm-hmm.
The screen that has been much talked about, the 7-inch OLED, also true.
Mm-hmm.
But then the system rumors kind of fall off.
They do.
There are a few other enhancements. Go down the list. It has double the memory, 32 gig goes to 64. It has some enhanced sound, the beautiful OLED screen, and a new dock that has wired Ethernet.
Right.
And unless I'm missing something, that's about it. Oh, there's a kickstand, the wide kickstand in the back.
Right. That is pretty much it. This is not the Switch Pro that people have been looking for.
No.
And the marketing around it is basically placing this as a bit of a premium version of the same Switch model, which it is. It's got a premium screen. It's got I mean, even the dock stuff. The dock will be available to purchase separately. So
online only from the Nintendo
yes,
store
on
only.
Nintendo Store. Right. So it's interesting how they're doing this. I still think it's going to be a huge seller. I'm trying to picture the market of people that this appeals to. I would imagine that the biggest market that it's appealing to would be people that play mostly in handheld mode.
Yeah, 50% or more.
Right. Or again, people that play a lot of online stuff. Like this will be great for Splatoon 3 with the wired LAN connection.
But again, if you play only in docked mode,
what's that?
And if you play only in docked mode,
that's right.
And want that wired LAN connection, you can just get that dock.
True, exactly. So yeah, and again, they already kind of have a console for the people that only play in handheld mode. So it's really kind of a premium console. And so it'll be interesting to see kind of who's buying it. And of course, you get a lot of people severely disappointed by this because they wanted the 4K, they wanted, a more powerful console. Yeah, it's interesting.
I've said it before, I'll say it again. My moment of being butthurt about this, I would like 4K, I would like a little more power. Why aren't they putting built-in Bluetooth?
Yeah, totally.
I see things with built-in Bluetooth that cost $10.
Mm-hmm.
Bluetooth, putting a Bluetooth radio in there for headsets wouldn't be that expensive or difficult. It's just not that hard of a piece to integrate.
I have to imagine it has something to do with how the controllers and everything connect to it. Like it would be, I don't know, it would possible interference problems or
but
something.
You can buy adapters. There's a ton of them now.
Yeah.
And they work. They're a pain because you have to deal with having an adapter.
Mm-hmm.
And they don't work. The ones I've found, there may be something out there. I don't want to say this definitively, but they don't work docked. Like the one I have doesn't work docked.
Right.
It just seems like it wouldn't be that tough.
It's an auto mission for sure.
And, some of us don't have wired headsets. We have earbuds, we have Beats, we have wireless Bluetooth headsets, and we'd like to use them without having to mess with a dongle.
Yeah.
Other notable omissions, I think they still skimped on the memory.
It's
64 gig versus 32.
Mm-hmm.
it wouldn't have been that much to go to 128. Flash memory is not that expensive. They could have easily gone to 128 gig
Absolutely.
and gone 4 times the memory and looked really cool rather than doubling the memory and looking like, oh, well, 64. You can get 128. I just got 128 gig micro SD card for $14. Ultra high speed.
Yeah, I know.
So it's like, how about a little bit of future proofing here? Big disappointment from people, no upgrade on the Joy-Cons.
Right.
No help for stick drift or anything like that.
Mm-hmm.
Let's take a pause for a second. Let's take a look at the announcement trailer that they dropped and show the viewers what they can look forward to.
All right.
Chasing lights, we make our own fun throughout the night. We're gonna feel this good forever. Such heights we reach together. Running out of life, stepping in time, tread our own path, we won't fall down. Now.
I mean, it looks cool, right?
It's a great looking system, okay? Like, and the fact that it basically matches Metroid Dread is an immediate selling feature for me. And a lot of people joking that it looks like a PS5 Slim almost.
The white version.
Yeah, with the color stylings. Again,
I'm buying red and blue again.
Are you really? Oh, I love that. I'm buying the not Metroid Dread edition because I think it looks pretty cool. But I want to see what that screen looks like. Like, if that screen is just ridiculous, that's a huge selling feature for me. I play enough handheld that if the screen is a big upgrade, that is enough for me.
And I think it's going to be.
I think so too.
I think the screen's going to be a major upgrade for handheld players, and that's why I'm going to pick one up. I play my Switch probably 80% in handheld mode,
right,
to free up the TV for my wife. So, yeah. And when I'm on the TV, I'm usually playing PS4 or Xbox.
Right.
Not that I don't like to dock my Switch, and I do sometimes, but a good part of the appeal for me is the handheld mode, which is another reason why people are bummed. Here you're promoting a premium handheld without improving the controllers. Seems weird to me. It seems like there's a lot of missed opportunities.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, they're completely marketing this around the screen.
Right.
So this screen had better be pretty impressive.
And if they were doing that and keeping the $299 price point and lowering the price of the standard Switch to $249, then it would be like, well, it's a solid upgrade at the same price. They didn't do that. They're keeping the price of the standard Switch, the standard price, and they're bumping this one up $50.
That's right, yeah.
And I get it. There's a chip shortage, which means things are expensive. But, I would have rather paid an extra $100 and had a couple more of these other improvements.
And I still think you will eventually. This is Nintendo we're talking about. They do small incremental upgrades in the middle multiple times sometimes.
It's true.
Before going on to the next Pro system. And I still think that Pro system's coming. For me, it's more of a question of how soon is it coming? And that's kind of the unknown, right? But I would be shocked if there wasn't a Pro system next year sometime.
If there is, I would say it'll be at least fall. I think they'll go a full year between iterations.
Yeah, and that would make me happy if they did that. I can go a full year with a OLED and go all over again here.
It just seems like, I don't know. We've been waiting for so long. And I'm talking out of both sides of my face because I'm saying I'm disappointed and I'm buying it anyways. But it seems like they should have done at least a little more.
Sure.
It would have been nice if they could have said, improved Joy-Con, we fixed the drift, which is leading me to believe like they can't fix the drift in that kind of design. It would have been nice Bluetooth. It would have been nice dual memory card slots. Which is something, that could add an actual higher cost. Plus, there's the engineering involved making dual memory card slots. It can be done. It's done on cameras all the time. But, I was looking for something like that. So I'm a little bummed.
I'm not surprised now that I kind of see what they're aiming for here. This is the same Switch console. Okay. It's the same with a nicer screen. And they focused the marketing around that, price point around that. I think it's the same Switch, but with an upgraded screen. And I think if you look at it from that point, you'll see why there's not a whole lot of hardware changes. Because I think they're just not aiming for that yet. I think they're saving all the big stuff for the Pro.
Okay, I'm gonna give if this time I'm gonna give the Switch Pro, my best Siskel and Ebert, one thumb sideways. Because I gotta see how this screen is. Maybe that thumb will go up if the screen's good enough. But Nintendo, stop taking advantage of us suckers who will buy pretty much anything you put out. We're out there, but it's not nice. They should have just given us the Pro revision this time.
And see, I'm going to give it thumbs up, of course, because I've been doing Nintendo products for so long that this is exactly what I expect. And if they didn't do this, you would still be waiting for an announcement that wouldn't come until possibly late next year.
It's true.
This is an in-between release, and it's not going to be for everybody. But if you're like me and you love your Switch and you want it to look the absolute best it can, well, you're going to be a sucker like me and you're going to buy it.
Yep, so, like me too. There is another possibility that we didn't talk about because it just occurred to me. Could also have to do with the chip shortage. they may not have been able to ramp up engineering on new chips that would be capable of the 4K. Now, let's be clear, the chip inside the Switch currently can do 4K. That processor is 4K capable. But they're already pushing that processor kind of to its limits with the games on the console. And to add 4K to that, you're going to break frame rates. You're going to do stuff like that. But it is a 4K capable processor. There is a chance that they fully wanted to do the Switch Pro, but could not get enough of the components to do it. The screen's not a problem. The chips, big problem.
Yeah, and Nintendo doesn't want that extreme scarcity that's plaguing the PS5 and the Series X right now. Again, chip shortages and pandemic and whatnot. I think they're just possibly thinking now is not the greatest time to launch the Switch Pro.
It could be. And that means when we do get a Switch Pro, it may be the exact same form factor with the exact same screen, and the other parts will be upgraded.
Absolutely, yes. I could see that.
So only time will tell. We're speculating here. That's what we do. we and I try to give all companies the benefit of the doubt as to their decisions. So don't get too mad at Nintendo. They could very well be doing the best they can and be trying to put in this stopgap to satisfy some of the fans out there.
Absolutely.
So, well, we're going to keep it a little short this week. We're dealing with some unstable internet connections and stuff thanks to the vacation.
Yeah.
But we will be back next week. We will talk about displays next week. And we will go a little bit deeper if any new information comes out on the OLED Switch. We'll do that. Watch L. Babin's personal Twitter feed if you're interested in that Switch, and see if the pre-orders come up, because if they come up, Babs is going to make sure that they're noted. And we will see you in a week. Thanks for tuning in.
Thanks so much, guys. Hope you have a great week.